Welcome back to ARC Tutorials. This is HTML full tutorial series for absolute beginners. In the last episode, we learned about how to include images in our web pages. In today's episode, we are going to learn a very important tag or an element which is called tables. Tables are used to represent data in a tabular format in rows and columns. If you work with any real-time, any enterprise, any real-time website which is little bit data driven, chances are that you would use a table in it. Tables are extremely useful in a good representative of data, especially if you work with banking, financial, insurance, real estate, any of those, right? You would include a table. Even without those industries, tables are used across all industries, all domains, and are hence extremely important for everybody to know. With that being said, let's get started with today's episode. This is part 15 of the series. If you haven't checked out the previous episodes, make sure that you go through it because I'm covering everything from basic to advanced so that you can learn and master HTML with me. Today we are learning about HTML tables in HTML. Alright, so what are tables? HTML tables allows us to arrange data into rows and columns. A row is nothing but a horizontal and columns are vertical. Okay, remember that. Now for writing a table tag, we will use table tag. Okay, that's the opening and closing. Everything will be in between this. Now there are a lot of other tags that will be used inside the table tag, right? Now T head, T body, T footer, which defines the head of the table content, groups the table. T body will group the body. T footer will group the footer content. TH stands for table header. TR stands for table row, and TD stands for table data. Okay. Now this is what gets the, you can say, in a sense that these are the all the tags that you will require to learn and master HTML table. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll keep it short in terms of explanation, but I will do lot of coding so that you are very clear about how to use that. All right, so let's get started with the coding part. So I'm going to go to my home.html. That's where we are working. It looks like this right now. In the last episode, we learned to include images. Okay, so to define a table, first you will write table tag, open and close table tag. Now table tag, to define a row, right, you will use table row. To define a table heading, that's the column heading, we'll write th. So here I'm going to write say country, and I'm going to write state, and one more. Let's say there are three data now, which is country, state, and city. Now we'll need one tr which will have the data, so we will write td. So here you notice we are writing tr is for table row. Okay, write some comments so it's easy for you to follow. This is table heading or header. Okay, now tr, again it's a row, and this time is table data for these values. So here I'm writing for the value country, I'm writing India, and state Karnataka, and city is Bangalore. This is one row. Okay, same way you can copy paste next and change the values. I'm saying USA, I think. Okay, alright, so if you see, this is one table which has two rows and one column heading. Okay, so let's see how it looks in action. Now you see here, country, state, and city is nothing but the table row which has the table heading, right? And these two are the values, which is tr. So remember, tr stands for table row, th stands for table heading, and td stands for table data. Okay, so that's the most important part that you should learn. Now I told you about tr, right? That is table heading, correct? Now let me explain some more variations of it. Now if you want to style it, right, now you can say here border equal to 1. So now you see it has a border, right? So that's an attribute you can give. Now you can use inline styling and say style, say background color should be, pick your favorite color here, let's say marine. So now you see it has a background color. So that way you can play with width, you can play with height, and you can give the table width and say 500 pixel. It becomes big, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that way you can arrange. But what I want to show you is some of the variations of it. But before we go there, you have to practice few things, so I list them down here. So these are important from your practice perspective. Like first, learn to create a table with lots of data. Okay, that's number one as you're learning the table thing. Then change the width and border. Okay, that's number two. Number three that you will try out is this. Let's say there is some data that needs to be spanned for multiple columns, right? What I mean by that is, what if the value is taking for two columns? So now let's see. It's called span 2. So it will span two columns and you don't need the third one. This is a variation of how to use it. Now see here, this particular row data is spanning two columns. That means it will occupy two columns, right? You see here under country and state it is only one. So that way you can span the data multiple columns, right? So that's one variation that you can do. Now let me put back the value first again, and then I'll show you some more variations. So that's number 3, which is using call span. Okay, then what else can we use? Okay, so now let's say you want to use a different value, and say you want to use t body and t header and those things, right? So let's do that now. I'm going to do the same table but with a t head and t body. So I'm writing table. Now this time I'm writing t head. That means table head. Okay. Now this is nothing but it just tells that this is the heading of the table. Okay. Remaining everything will be same as it is. Now it's a heading, so you'll have a tr. Now I'm going to say state, and next column is tax. Okay, so I have a table heading, so I'm grouping it under t head. That means these are the headings of this table. Same way we can group the body and say t body, and here I'll say tr, and then I'm going to say td, and here let's say state is Karnataka, and let's say tax is to 30%. Do let me know what is the tax rate in your state. So I'm assuming if it is Dallas, it will also be 30, say 33%. I don't know, but do let me know in the comment section if you know what is the tax rate in your state. Okay, so now see, it is still the same, right? And again, you can give the same values, and you can provide border, right? And you can give width. Usually, like I said, we will start controlling all these from CSS, okay, through the style sheet. So as we progress along, I'll show you that we can do alternate rows coloring, we can do background, make it look much elegant, beautiful with drop shadow, and much more. But hold on to your guns right now. I know you're eager to learn, but I will take you there step by step. For today, what you're practicing is these use cases. That's all you should focus on. So learn today to use these things. Create a table with data, with rows, with columns, right? Create with, with 6, 7 columns and data along with it. Create for rows, change the width and border, change the call span, include t head, t body, and finally, if you want, you can have t footer, right? And again, you can add table row, table data, say total, um, value, etc. Right? It won't have any difference in the UI, but it's mostly for controlling from the CSS or JavaScript that you will control the data, right? So those are the basic things that you should know with respect to HTML tables. If you practice these well, I'm sure you will be completely mastering the HTML tables. Okay, so to start with, what I would suggest is yet another example of table. Okay, so I've separated out the tables. Now this is very important to start learning. This is the foundation for you to learn, and as you progress along you would start making looking the page very beautiful. Okay, quick recap for you in the tags that we are adding of whatever we have learned. We learned table tag, we learned t head, we have learned t body, we have learned tr, we have learned th, we have learned td, and we have learned t foot, right? So I'm sure all these tags you are comfortable, right? Do let me know in the comment section if you have any doubts, because I'm trying to take things easy for you. We are reaching to a point where we can start designing websites. Another couple of websites, couple of episodes to cover basics like list, etc., and then we'll start our live coding designing. I can't wait. I'm excited for that. I hope you too are. But let's learn it completely. Learning is only one time investment, friends. So learn it well and it will stay with you for lifelong. Join me in the next episode where we learn about lists in HTML. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're learning and enjoying this series.